Aloha and welcome. My name is Taylor Norris, and I'm an astrologer and Reiki teacher. And I'm really excited today to share with you about the partial solar eclipse that is coming up on September 21st at 9:54 a.m. Hawaii time. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the eclipse basics, what you need to know about it, what it actually is, as well as getting into the astrology, the galactic astrology, a little bit of the medical astrology, what to be aware of, the Sabian symbol, and to really just invite you to start tuning into this solar eclipse, which is the second eclipse in this particular eclipse season, eclipse portal that began with the Virgo new moon that was on August 22nd, followed by the September 7th total lunar eclipse in Pisces. And this is our second Virgo new moon, and it happens to be a partial solar eclipse. And what's really fascinating about it is that it is going to occur over 4 hours and 24 minutes. And it is a pretty large or pretty maximal, strong, potent partial solar eclipse, as about 80% of the sun's disk will be obscured, depending on where you are in the world. And so, where you can view this eclipse, it's happening in a pretty remote part of the earth where it will be visible. But those of you who are in New Zealand will most likely be able to observe the eclipse for your sunrise time, morning time on September 22nd. So let us know how it is. And I also want to share that on September 21st, so the same day as the eclipse, I will be hosting a distant Reiki share, and you're welcome to join that. The link to join that will be below this video in the description. And so in the distant Reiki share, we'll do a Reiki journey specifically for the solar eclipse. And we'll also look at the moon cycle ahead, the major astrological transits that will be coming up. So some more to know about this eclipse is that it is part of Saros Cycle 154, and Saros Cycle is a period of about 18 years, 11 days, and two eclipses separated by this period of time share a similar geometry. The eclipses share the same lunar node at nearly the same distance from the Earth at the same time of year. And so the last eclipse that we had as Saros Cycle 154 was a partial solar eclipse at 18 degrees Virgo, 18 minutes, and it was on September 11th, 2007. So think back to you and your life and what was going on around September 11th, 2007, and this could feel like a spiraling up with similar types of themes and energies and life areas coming into focus, coming into awareness. So I'm curious what those are for you and really invite you to tune into that, as well as, of course, what has been coming up for you since really about August 22nd, that Virgo new moon, and the Pisces lunar eclipse on September 7th. What have you really been healing through, empowering, focusing on? What changes, what quantum leaps, what kind of growth has been manifesting for you? What kind of themes are coming up for you? And I will share more about the themes in the astrology part of this video. And before we dive into the chart, just a reminder, new moons, the sun and the moon are together. It's a seed point. It's a new beginning. When there's an eclipse, we have that new moon or full moon occurring in proximity to one of the nodes of the moon. In this case, it's the south node of the moon. And so we have the moon that will be temporarily in between the earth and the sun, thus blocking out a portion of the solar disk from view. So we have the energy of new beginnings with that new moon, but we also have the energy of the deep past, of dissolution, of dissolving and releasing and completing, and the deep past, the deep psyche, liberation, enlightenment, all being brought forward by this new moon, this solar eclipse in proximity to the south node of the moon, which has those significations of being associated with the deep past of release, of energy that's going out, that's flowing out, of the deep psyche, of the deep unconscious, and of the soul. And as I shared about in the last video on the Pisces lunar eclipse, the south node of the moon is conjunct Orcus, and dwarf planet Orcus is one of Pluto's brothers. It is in the Kuiper belt beyond the orbit of Pluto, and it's a very, very powerful planetary consciousness. And I invite you to check out that last video I did on the Pisces lunar eclipse. I really talked about Orcus quite a lot in depth. And what's so interesting is that I know that that really came up for me standing is as a pillar of integrity, of truth, of honor. It's been coming up for others that I've been in conversation with, in communion with, and just this sense of dissolving soul oaths, contracts, agreements of certain spiritual circles needing to open up. In other words, where is your energy? Where are you connected into? Where are you entangled? Where are you in relationship, in contract, whether with another person, whether it's with a group, an organization, any kind of affiliation? What of those involvements are you ready to release and let go of? This is massively coming up. What's not in alignment for you anymore? What are you kind of seeing through the illusion? That is such a huge theme of this eclipse season, of the Pisces lunar eclipse, of this Virgo solar eclipse. And really, it's such a big part of the learning of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction energies that we've been working with this year, that we will be working with next year as well. So much of Saturn dipping back into Pisces, really bringing up those themes of your inner authority, your inner truth, dissolving hierarchies, dissolving inauthentic leadership, dissolving any kind of like patriarchal structure that's rooted in a power over paradigm, even if it is guised and veiled in some sort of spiritual or idealistic clothing, and it's trying to look a certain way. Orcus with South Node, it's like we are seeing through the illusion. Saturn and Neptune together too, seeing through that illusion, reclaiming, embodying that sense of inner authority, and Neptune embracing this sense of healthy disillusionment. When we become illusion, that's usually an unconscious process. We're not aware, we're just kind of sucked into it, we believe it, and maybe we're ignoring certain red flags, maybe ignoring certain intuitive voices, soft voices within us that are saying, no, 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 something's off, something's not right. And together, Saturn and Neptune are saying, well, embrace some of that healthy disillusionment. See things clearly. See the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's difficult, even if it's triggering, that you're strong enough to see the truth, embody the truth, and be a pillar of that truth, integrity, and honor, because we don't have any time anymore to be messing around out of integrity, out of honor, out of truth. And this is going to look different for everybody, how this is coming up, but this is definitely coming up in the field. And the Pisces lunar eclipse was really talking about spiritual ending, spiritual completions. What are we ready to let go of so that we can be on our path of highest mastery, growth, evolution, showing up in our full integrity, our full power? And this Virgo new moon is like, yes, you've released, you've set boundaries. What releases are still necessary? What boundaries are still necessary? What new awarenesses and communications, ways of thinking are coming in for you that reflect where you are actually at on your spiritual journey, on your human journey, as this new moon, the solar eclipse, is occurring at the very last degree of Virgo, the so called crisis degree of Virgo. And the new moon is conjunct Mercury, our mind, our thoughts, our communications. And this is opposing both Saturn and Neptune, Saturn and Pisces, Neptune in Aries. And so there is that sovereignty, that inner authority, that inner truth, that sense of following your own leadership. You know what to do, you know what's best for you. And Saturn Neptune is not about wasting time and energy playing games that you have outgrown, or playing roles that you have outgrown, or being in relationships or affiliations that you have outgrown. This is like, you are the boss, you are in charge, you are worthy. Let's change the mindset, upgrade the mindset, become aware in the ways you need to be aware so that you can embrace disillusionment where you have been illusioned, where you have been unable to see clearly, or just kind of like being in denial about certain things that maybe you've been in denial about. And this is happening collectively as well. We are collectively awakening and collectively removing veils of illusion from our eyes, from our perception, from our beings. And this is not a comfortable process to be in, but it's healthy. It can be raw, it can be painful, it can be uncomfortable, but we're all in this together. We're all growing and going through this together. And to really tap into those families of frequencies, those people, those relationships that do feel right and safe and loving, so that we can shed what needs to be shed and move on, because there's so much growth and synergy and creation and creativity and community and connection and new, future that wants to come in and needs to come in. And we're just having to slough off a bit more of the mess and see things a bit more clearly so that we can move forward skillfully with discernment and dialed in. Two of my favorite ways of thinking about Virgo energy. Yes or no? Is this right for me? Is this a whole load of BS or not? And trusting your gut, the gut intelligence. Virgo in the body rules the small intestines, the organs of digestion. We have Jupiter and Cancer as well. Cancer is linked to the stomach. And so, really trusting your gut if something feels off, if you're needing to move away from certain things, people, energies, affiliations, ways of being, ways of thinking, ways of speaking, ways of communicating, ways of being in relationship, to trust your gut, trust your instincts, let it go, let it flow. And this will enable all of that newness, that growth, that harmony, that creation. You'll have the space to make those connections, to be in that higher consciousness, to be in a greater sense of alignment, and to, it's like what's being released, let it go. There's no need to like overthink it, overanalyze it, pick it apart to death. Just let it go and focus on the new directions, what you're moving towards, what you're cultivating, what you're calling in, what you're manifesting. And with all of this, we have so much incredible cosmic support. So, the geometry of the eclipse is a kite formation, with the tail of the kite being the eclipse together with Mercury. And you can see there's a grand trine in air with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, Uranus now retrograde in Gemini, as well as Sedna retrograde in Gemini, and then our eclipse and Mercury that is in Libra at this time, the eclipse and Mercury opposing Saturn, Neptune, Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Aries. And so it's an out of sign in the sense that we've got different signs, different elements, different modalities, but it is still that kite formation. So there is a synergy, there is a fusion, there is a next level of mastery, clarity, discernment, liberation, deeply grounded, empowered, practical, precise precision, vision, clarity, crystallization that wants to come through and setting any of those boundaries, reclaiming sovereignty, all big parts of the teaching and the medicine and the embodiment of this kite. This is just going to catapult new levels of connection, community, and creativity and higher consciousness moving forward. And so we also have, I'm calling it the black hole equinox eclipse. It's occurring the day before the autumnal equinox, the Libra equinox. Autumnal in the northern hemisphere would be the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere. So it's occurring at that last degree of Virgo right before the sun's going to move into Libra and strike that note of the Libra equinox. And it's a black hole equinox eclipse because when we look at the galactic alignments, we see Sun and Moon conjunct supergalactic center. Saturn, Neptune, opposite supergalactic center. Mercury, conjunct supergalactic center. Mars, conjunct Shapley attractor. And there are other alignments here, of course, beautiful, powerful ones. But that is what we would call quite a lot of alignments to black holes, focusing on supergalactic center and Shapley attractor. So we have the black hole energy strong. And what does that mean? Well, we are certainly supported in releasing, in letting go, in resting, in stillness, in being in the deep, dark fertility of the void, of the 0 point, of that resetting our minds, resetting our thinking, resetting our energy, reacclimating to what's new and what's coming and who we are now, reclaiming a sense of liberation, sovereignty, and inner authority. In the journey, in the Distant Reiki Share, we will certainly be working with Supergalactic Center and Shapley Attractor. And just as a reminder for those of you who may be less familiar with what these energies are, at the center of the solar system is our sun, our star, and our solar system is a part of the Milky Way galaxy, along with many other star systems. And the center of the Milky Way galaxy is a black hole called the Galactic Center. And our Milky Way galaxy is one of dozens of galaxies that are in orbit, that are in organization by this supermassive black hole called the Supergalactic Center. And that's what Sun, Moon, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune are all aligning to. An even greater central point, an even more powerful supermassive black hole that has that creation force, life force energy of, yes, destruction and consuming, and what goes in, doesn't come out the same, but it's also a creation energy, emitting light, emitting radiation, emitting cosmic frequencies that we are receiving at this time. It's jetting off this energy that we can connect with. The supergalactic center in particular is linked to deep ancestral history, deep ancestral healing, ancestral histories on the earth, as well as ancestral histories within the Milky Way galaxy, within our solar system, more locally, as well as our galactic ancestral histories, which are very, very vast. So, this is a wonderful time to be in communion and in contact with our galactic ancestors, our ancestors of the earth, whichever ancestors are feeling right and good to be in relationship with, and to invite that healing wave of light to ripple out and to connect with all our ancestors, all that we are in relationship with. Mars conjunct Shapley Attractor is very, very strong, and Mars is going to continue to be aligned with Shapley Attractor as it moves into Scorpio beyond this solar partial eclipse and beyond, and including even the Libra equinox. So, Shapley Attractor, we were at Super Galactic Center as this massive creator, destroyer, organizer of our Milky Way galaxy and dozens of other galaxies. You go one octave higher and you get to the Great Attractor, which is the source organizer of our galactic supercluster that's called Laniakea and other galactic superclusters. And then going out one octave higher, further out than the Great Attractor, is Shapley Attractor. And Shapley Attractor is an organizer, source creator of a huge part of the known universe. Just very, very vast, very, very powerful, very, very massive, and very, very high consciousness. I think about this in relation to the universal beings of the light and energies that are like Shapley Attractor, connecting us to beyond the known universe into other universes, into the multiverse, into other multiverses. This is really, really expansive consciousness. And so, with Mars in alignment here, we are guided to release, we are guided to be empowered, we are able to be filled with all of this incredible life force energy. And even seeing too that Mars is moving into a square with Pluto. This is deep, this is powerful, this is catalyzing and waking up and activating deep soul mastery and wisdom and intelligence, creativity, ideas, communications. This can really bring up a lot of soul power and empowerment. And it's like whatever disillusionment we're waking up to, whatever ancestral healing we're engaging, it's going to deeply motivate and fuel us to be the change we want to be in the earth, in the world, to activate our gifts, our mastery, to be of service, to be clear channels of our souls, of our spirit, to be clear channels of healing and higher consciousness, to embody those peace frequencies, even if there's been some sacred rage coming up this eclipse portal too. That has been a part of the story. And this may also be a bit of that sacred rage coming up to be processed, to be released. That whatever disillusionment is coming up for each of us and us as a collective, there can be a bit of that sacred rage with what has transpired, and to allow that and to navigate that skillfully, and to be in community, be in safe places where you can talk, where you can share, where you can process, to engage whatever emotional self-regulation skills and techniques resonate with you and help you feel good. But to know that whatever feelings, whatever emotions are coming up at this time in this eclipse portal, that if you are having a lot of deep feelings, you're really not alone. It's not a bad sign to allow those energies to be energies in motion, flowing through, to not overly attach, fixate, create stories around them, or be in the story of them, to let them flow through and to engage whatever you need to engage to self soothe and to calm your nervous system down. So that is some of what's going on here. Mars square Pluto, very powerful energy. We could see this manifest globally in different ways. We also have Venus in a first quarter square to Uranus. And this is kind of nice. This is bringing in like out of the box beauty, kind of like freak flaggy beauty, being attracted to different things. This is that awakened, empowered, divine, feminine, healer, priestess, Venus newly in the sign of Virgo. So that's interesting. It's interesting when you put all of this together. It's a really interesting geometry, these two squares, Uranus Sedna with Venus, and then Mars Pluto, and then this kite formation that's in between here. This is very powerful, very dynamic, and we also have Jupiter separating trine from the north node of the moon, which has that emotional depth, creativity, flow, trusting our gut instincts, as I said here. So, I wanted to share also some of the more practical medical astrology. This is from Judith Hill's book, Eclipses in You. And just because Virgo is the sign of health, this is very, very important. Judith writes, governing the liver, pancreas, upper bowel, upper colon, and spleen. This is an important time to support these organs. This is no time to stuff yourself like a goose. This eclipse season presents a good time for reassessing your health needs and diet plan. Learn more about healthy eating choices, consume less meat or dairy, and eat more vegetables. Virgo is an analytical sign, so it's time to analyze your diet. Diabetics, be vigilant. These eclipses can raise or lower blood sugar suddenly. The liver is more sensitive at these times. This is a perfect time for fasting or at least abstaining from rich food. Traditionally, earth sign moons were used to induce vomiting, so it's not recommended for giving medicine you intended to go down. So pay attention to your health, pay attention to your diet, pay attention to your nutrition regimen. This is a time to eat more lightly, to really tend your physical body vessel, to support your gut's microbiome. And, I'm often asked how to ground, how to ground, how to ground. And tending to your health, your nutrition, your body, being in nature, engaging in that really practical, basic, natural hygiene and self care is such a big part of the way that I stay grounded and connected, even though it's my joy and my passion to connect with the galactic and to be in the stars and be in the astrology and be in the Reiki energy as much as I can. That daily showing up for myself, really tending my health really well, drinking my big green juice and eating fresh fruits and vegetables and taking the time to make nice, healthy meals for myself. That really helps contribute to keeping a high vibration and staying really healthy and vibrant and connected to my body's wisdom. This is a lot of also what Venus and Virgo loves to do, is that tending the self-care, the physical health, tending to the plants and the gardens and really dialing in the health and self-care routines. I also wanted to share with you the Sabian symbol for this new moon and Virgo solar eclipse. And it could not be more on point. Literally embracing disillusionment. Okay, this is coming from Dane Ridger's Astrological Mandala. Virgo 30. So we round up from Virgo 29 and 29 degrees in so many minutes, we round up to the 30th degree of Virgo. Totally intent upon completing an immediate task, a man is deaf to any allurement. Keynote: the total concentration required for reaching any spiritual goal. This is the final symbol of the first half of the cycle. In the year cycle, the fall equinox is now at hand. Autumn begins. Through spring and summer, many ways and byways have been experienced. The last message of this hemicycle of individualization is that on all decisive occasions, what must be done has to be done so intently that no outer voices can penetrate the mind, still less the soul. The neophyte stands at the gates of the sacred pyramid. There is only one step he can take, ahead, or he is lost. This is the culminating step, the decision that results from a myriad of small choices. Still, a shadow of hesitation can remain. Attention may be distracted from the now by a voice from the past, glamorizing some old memory. The outer doors of perception and thought must be closed, so the soul can now complete its conquest of illusion. Conquest of illusion. If this is not the sacred invitation here from the 30th degree of Virgo to conquer illusion, to embrace healthy disillusionment, this is yet another confirmation and validation that that is what is on the eclipse portal, sacred teaching lesson plan for us to do as individuals in our individual lives, in our own soul journeys, and what we're needing to do as a collective. And again, this process is not comfortable. It's not always smooth sailing. It's not always easy. That when we are illusioned, we are illusioned for a reason, that sometimes the truth is harder to see. It's harder to recognize. It's harder to claim and act from that place. But really, that's an illusion, that the truth will set us free. And that's what we're being asked to do. So trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust what's coming up for you, trust the strength and the sovereignty of your soul and spirit to handle whatever's coming up. To get support, ask for help, of course, when and as you need it, to engage those healthy self regulation and emotional regulation and self care skills that help you stay centered and grounded and peaceful. And to know that anything that's really coming up that's heavy, that's dense, that's ancient, that's old, that no longer serves your highest good, you're ready to release it. That if you're becoming aware of it, you're seeing it clearly, you're ready to release it so that you can be launched forward on this exciting new beginning and really get down to that next level of engagement and joyful service and creativity and connection and community and way of being in the earth human experience in 2025 and beyond. That you're ready and you're being initiated. We're all being initiated, and you've already said yes. And to give yourself a big pat on the back for being brave and courageous and allowing yourself to realign to your highest timeline, your path of truth, integrity, and honor, aligned with the deep truth of your inner authority. That you are that, and that is you, and you are strong and clear and pure. So you're welcome to connect more with me at taylornorrisreiki.com. On September 19th, the Venusian Ascension Mysteries class is kicking off. It is Intuitive Galactic Astrology and a Reiki Journey class where we are going very, very deep with Venus. And the registration for that class is needed before September 19th. So if you want to be a part of this sacred Reiki held circle, definitely sign up and register for that sooner rather than later because the registration will close on September 19th. And coming up on September 21st is the free distant Reiki share for this Virgo new moon and solar eclipse. I also do one-on-one Galactic Astrology soul readings and Reiki Journey sessions, and you can learn more about any and all of this at taylornorrisreiki.com, and that will all be linked below this video in the description. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you a most beautiful, blessed, abundant rest of your eclipse season. Happy and blessed Virgo solar eclipse. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.